Are you ready for it? It's Reddit confessions. That was a terrible intro. Hey, I'm Sybil, let's dive into this. I slept with my daughter's ex-boyfriend, he got me pregnant, and I had an abortion. They got back together and got married. And the mother tagged it with remorse. God, I would hope so. This was back in, let me think, maybe 1997. I was 38 and my daughter was 18 and she was dating Harry, who was 24. I was an wait, 18 and 24? Alright, already seeing some problems with Harry. 18-year-old and a 24-year-old, that's not giving me the best start. I never thought Potter would do that, but here we are. I was an alcoholic and dabbled in other drugs, mostly cocaine. I was not a good person, let alone mother. Not like I was abusive to my daughter or anything, but I was generally inattentive and cared more about my alcohol and drugs than her, especially in her teen years. I am 14 years sober now. Congratulations on your sobriety, and obviously I don't know the full story, but being inattentive and caring more about alcohol and drugs sounds a lot like emotional and mental abuse. I disapproved of my daughter dating Henry, but I never told her why. He would flirt with me constantly, and the age difference also creeped me out. Also, he was an alcoholic and drug user just like me. She broke up with him over his alcoholism. Soon after, she moved away, but not too far, but regardless, she didn't live with me anymore. Harry kept calling me and asking if we wanted to get drinks. I turned him down, but then one day he said he had a bunch of coke, and I couldn't resist. He came over, we did the coke, and we ended up having sex. He was a very good-looking guy. He looked a lot like that ridiculous 80s Justin Bieber picture that was on the front page today. That is actually what made me think about him. What picture is she talking about? 80s, there's like all of this like horrible information being dropped, and I'm sitting here like, 80s Justin Bieber? This is what made you want him? I'm so sorry. This is what did it? Is it this one? Okay, this one maybe. This one absolutely not. I don't know. His face just doesn't fit the 80s vibe, in my opinion. I know some people are gonna be like literally flooding over that photo, being like, what do you mean? And I'm also having a very hard time believing he looked like that photo. For the next few months, maybe like 3 to 4 months, he would sometimes come over and we would have sex and do drugs and get drunk together. Any drug addict knows what it's like to have a drug addict buddy in that way. 3 to 4 months, that's a long time to decide to stop. I totally understand that she was an addict though, and you're not typically in your right frame of mind, and I'm sure she's grown so much since this. It sounds like this is something that weighs so heavy on her heart. So I'm trying not to like be like, oh my god, you had 3 to 4 months to fix the issue, because it's like addiction makes you do things that you usually would never do. I'm trying to look at it from that point of view. Then I got pregnant. I knew it was by him. I had sex without a condom a few times stupidly. I never told him I was pregnant, and I went and got the abortion and kept it a secret. So you also didn't tell him. Ooh, see, I don't know if that's the good idea or the bad idea. I almost think it's the better idea, because he's also an addict and has a relationship with your daughter in the past. So I don't know, maybe that is a better idea to not tell him in that specific case. Anyways, I stopped seeing him after that. It was too weird. I also got sober for like 4 months before relapsing. Fast forward 2 years and my daughter contacts me and tells me that she got back with Harry and that he is fully sober. I was mortified, honestly. He was gonna tell her that we slept together and she's going to hate me for life. They came over one day and said hi, and then my daughter was gone. Harry told me that there's no reason to tell her about what happened. I agreed. No! Oh my god. So this is bad on both parts, but the fact that Harry got sober, which is great, but then in his sober state decided to get back with the daughter and lied to her and never tell her, that's just taking away like consent from the daughter, in my opinion. Because if I was in the position that the daughter is in, I would never consent to sleep with that person again. I would never consent to having that person back in my life. That definitely is crossing bounds of consent. It's been 16 years of marriage on their part. They have a kid together. Harry got cancer, then beat it. I got sober. That's basically it. I don't see them very often. They live in Texas and I live on the East Coast. But whenever I do, there's always that tension between me and Harry. It's literally the first thing that comes to either of our minds. I can just tell. Not like sexual tension, like why did we have to do that? What the fuck is wrong with this kind of tension? I bet. I think about this often, especially when I see my grandson. I always think that could have been my son if things had gone differently, but wow, what a disaster that would have been if I decided to keep that child. What an if? It's already a disaster. Oh my gosh. Like I was saying, addiction can make you do things that you typically wouldn't. You're not in your correct headspace. But it's the fact that after sobriety, you both took that option away from the daughter, because yes, it could have potentially ruined your relationship with her on both Harry and your part. Like, yes, that could happen, but it happened. It happened, and now she doesn't have the option to make a decision. So when you both got sober, you had a decision to have clarity on the situation, and you didn't, and now they're married for 16 years, but she shouldn't have married him without knowing the full story. I feel really bad for the daughter. I cannot imagine how she would feel if she ever found out or stumbled upon that post, because if that post is real, because that's the thing with Reddit, you should always take everything with a little grain of salt. If that post is 100% real, that is a very honest and situational post. And even if you use fake names, I feel like that one, if I were in your daughter's shoes and I read it, I might be like, that sounds a lot like my life, huh? Really hope you tell her before she finds out, if she hasn't already, because that post is pretty viral. Let's do a more fun one, huh? That was a heavy hitter to start with. 8 years ago, I caused a UFO panic. One college summer break, 8 years ago, my friends and I were bored. We remembered a demonstration from a high school science class of a solar balloon. This was just a really thin plastic bag you'd fill with air, seal, and then set out in the sun. The sun would heat the air in the black bag, and the bag would become buoyant and float. We had the idea to find the cheapest, thinnest black plastic trash bags available and combine a bunch of them to make a huge balloon. We spent a few days driving around to Walmart and dollar stores trying different brands to find the thinnest possible plastic bag and thinnest tape which would work the best. Finally, we took a number of them, cut off the bottom ends, and taped them together into a huge balloon when we filled up with a loop blower and then tied the end. After sitting out in the sun for half an hour or so, we had done it. And then there's a picture that the friend had taken as it was becoming buoyant. We had to mess around with how the tape was sealing the bags to use as little of it as possible, as the weight of the tape added up and made the balloon harder to float. Shortly after this, the balloon got away from us further. This was disappointing, but we made another one and got funny looks from cars driving by and were entertained for a bit. Shortly after this new balloon met its demise, smacking into a tree and getting popped, oh well, mission success. A few years later, I happened across this news article. The balloon that got away had apparently blown a town over and caused a big UFO panic. People were calling 911, the police, and the local radio stations about it. Our boredom unintentionally created a UFO panic in central New Jersey. I moved out of the area, but when I get together with my friend, we always bring this up and have a good laugh. Wow, didn't really expect this would gain much traction. Also didn't expect any New Jersey Redditors to have seen this, let alone the author of the article to show up. Glad everyone thinks this is funny, but that being said, please don't go out and do this on purpose. Oh my goodness, that's wild. And I love that it just came from a couple kids having fun with science. I'm gonna be honest with you, for those of you that don't know, my worst fear is aliens. And I know it sounds dumb. I watched Signs when I was like 4 with my dad, and also I read so much true crime that when it comes to like the horror aspects of things, aliens creep me out the most. And I think it's like that home invasion, that kidnapping, that like sense of being unsafe in your own home without any way to defend yourself. So when you like pair that with like true crime and aliens, I think that's kind of why they scare me so bad. So this would have like made me piss my pants. If I was that town over and I was driving and I saw that balloon just floating, I would have, that might have been my last day. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of this one time. I grew up in a really small town, for y'all that don't know. We were on the back porch of the house and we saw these lights coming out over the forest, because I grew up in Washington State, so lots of forest, and just flashing in the sky like these giant lights. And it freaked all of us out so bad that we got into the car, drove into town, and it just turns out that there was a brand new like car lot, like used car lot, that had gotten this light as like a advertisement thing to like show where it is at night. And oh my god, it was so spooky. Anyways, that's a fun story, but I would have, you know. I just told someone I was too tired from day drinking to hang out, but it's actually because I had 8 hot dogs today and I feel like I'm going to die. My boy is drowning in the glizzy. The glizzy annihilator. The glizidinator. I tried too hard for that one to work.
It makes me want a hot dog real bad.
God, I've done that with Taco Bell. I didn't lie about day drinking though. I admitted to my Taco Bell. I just fucking love Taco Bell. I could see myself doing this on a fucking barbecue. Oh, that sounds so fire. That sounds so fire. I put myself on the internet and then I'm like, why did I get a hate comment? That's fucking why. The fact that I just did that, that is why. I called fake orders into a pizza place to get free pizzas. My husband works at a popular pizza chain. We'll call it Piece of Butt. Okay, so we're talking about the Pizza Hut. Jabba the Hutt. Just Jabba the Hutt wearing a Pizza Hut fucking cap, just... If orders are messed up or carry-out orders don't show, the employees get to take the food home. Sometimes I order pizzas under fake names and give the numbers of local businesses as callback numbers, and then purposefully never show up to pay for it. 9 times out of 10, my husband brings home the pizza I ordered. This is sinful pizza, yes I know, but sin pizza tastes better than honest pizza, inexplicably. Inexplicably. Oh my god, is that one of those words that I just can't say? Inexplicably. There it is. Sounding a little rough, but we got there. Always practice what you don't know, and then one day you will know. Lessons with Sybil. It's the most basic fucking advice. Every day, wake up and breathe. Don't forget to drink water. Okay, there's an edit, but before we go into the edit, I do have to say, like, my one issue with this is, like, I'm not worried about, you know, pizza of the butt, or whatever they called it, losing money. I more so am thinking about the employees who then have to, like, make the pizza and go through the work of doing the labor for you, which people will be like, oh, that's their job, but it's really not their job to get fake pizza calls and then make fake pizzas so you can take it home. I mean, unless it's your husband who ends up making it, but I only can assume that the whole staff has to go in on it. But overall, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I think it's weird that employees can't take home a free pizza anyways. I mean, they're probably working for dirt money under bad management, and you're not gonna let them take home a saw? I think that scene from Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny where they're picking up weed from the pizza place.
Tell me what the Bob Marley extra crispy. You'll know what you're talking about.
All right, dude. Roger that. 1 extra crispy coming up.
Sasquatch is my papa and he's here to protect me. For those who say I am a pizza shit, why, yes I am. Especially since I can afford to buy the pizza. I hope I don't put Pizza Butt out of business. I'd feel so bad since they've treated my husband so well as an employee. For those who went through my post history and want to report to the school I work at, please do it. My boss could use a laugh. For those who immediately messaged me about my divorce / being single now, you must at least work at Papa John's or better, and maybe I'll consider you. Papa bless y'all. Okay, yeah, I think people are going way too far by being like, I mean, Carl, you're the place you work at. It's like they're like, I'm gonna fucking dox you for getting free pizza from the place your husband works at. Like, that's what? Okay, people on the internet take some shit way too seriously. Because this is, like I said, at most shitty to the employee that has to make it, but if her husband works there and is the one making it, then who even cares? Like I said, they should get free pizza anyways. They work at Pizza Hut. And I'm sure she's not the first person to, like, crack the code. So to sit there and be like,
I'm gonna get you fired from your place of work because sometimes you get free pizza.
That's absolutely ridiculous. For those of you saying I'm a pizza shit, that's fucking fire though. Fuck, why do I keep saying that? Oh my god, what am I, a 16-year-old boy playing Minecraft? Why yes, I am the equivalent. I intentionally ask women well above the legal age limit alcohol to show me their ID. I work as a cashier at a grocery store. Whenever a middle-aged woman who clearly looks older than 21 purchases alcohol from me, I intentionally ask them to show their ID. I do this because somewhere deep down I feel that if I ask them for their ID, it creates an impression that they look far younger than they are. I do this every chance I get, regardless of how busy the line is, in hopes of making them feel younger and possibly happier. See, this is wholesome, but it's like sad that it's wholesome because women are not allowed to age. It's kind of like how Hollywood talks about how women are discarded after turning 30 because they're just like no longer useful because they no longer have that like youth. Yes, this is wholesome and the person who's doing it is doing it for a reason that is nice and supposed to be uplifting, but it just makes me think about how sad it is that something like that is supposed to be uplifting. Young women are the only way that women are valued, which is absolutely not true. Can we get a MILF in the chat? Yeah, it's really sweet that you do that, and it's not knocking this poster because I'm sure he has made lots of women's days, but it's unfortunate the circumstance in which it makes them feel better. I make copies of other people's keys for personal use. They tagged this as light. I'm gonna tag that as a fucking felony. What? Whenever anyone lets me borrow a key, usually to their house in order to pet sit, the first thing I do is go to Walmart and make a copy of that key for personal use after they ask for it back. I never break into houses and steal anything other than food or maybe alcohol, but I love the feeling of being able to effortlessly enter a place I know I don't belong without anyone's knowledge. I have keys to multiple people's houses and a couple of buildings / garages from my old job. This comment says, I don't steal anything except for the stuff I steal. I decide the value of other people's things. Yeah, I don't steal anything except for food, alcohol, their safety. That is terrifying. That's the kind of shit that would keep me up at night. You know how we were talking about true crime, aliens, the idea of somebody coming into your house and invading your space without your knowledge or without you being able to defend yourself? This falls under that category. That is absolutely terrifying. What the fuck am I doing? I can't imagine somebody doing this to me. But now that like it's been put into my thought process, I want to throw up. My mind immediately was like, what if the person robbing me accidentally leaves the door open and my cat's run out? Like, somehow my personal safety after all that ranting about what I fear was just like kaput when it came to my cats. They were like, cats being strangled in my sleep. I shit on my neighbor's doorstep. Good title. So back when I was 10, my dad asked if I wanted to make $20. I accepted. The catch, I had to shit on our neighbor's doorstep. It was clear my dad had beef with this woman. She woke in the morning and tried to blame our chihuahua. My dad yelled at her saying that the shit was bigger than our dog. Impossible. The point is I don't feel bad. Forever daddy's girl. This is one of those posts that I pray is real. It just sounds too good to be true. That's what I meant earlier. You have to take it with a little bit of grain of salt, but if this is real, this is masterfully concocted and also like written, because that daddy's girl line at the end sealed the deal for me. That shit was good. Love it. Big fan. Big fan. What a twist! Also, the gaslighting with the chihuahua, it's too big. It's too big. It's like, you can just tell the difference between... God, I just thought about it in like the heat of the summer on the porch. There's a clear difference between human shit and chihuahua shit. This is really making me grossed out. This is getting me gagged. Gagged. Shut the fuck up. If I woke up and I walked to my porch and there was a steaming pile of human dookie just sitting there, just shitting there, I feel like I would know. I feel like I would know. I wouldn't be like, it must be your fucking 2-pound dog. But then again, who in their right mind is gonna be like, it was the neighbor's daughter? Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. My stuff will be in the description, and if you liked the video, liked it. If you really liked it, maybe subscribe. I don't know, I do this sometimes. And with that, I'll see you later. Bye. Sorry, that was really aggressive. Let me gently. There you go.